It's Wednesday, March 13, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. American Airlines flights in and out of Barbados have been grounded. The move comes as the United States President Donald Trump today put a stop to flights by Boeing's 737 MAX aircraft following Sunday's tragic crash of an Ethiopian Airlines flight. When Barbados Today visited the Grantley Adams International Airport, AA Flight 1083 from Miami was cancelled. However, passengers on AA Flight 1193 from Miami safely landed at the GAIA earlier today. Efforts by Barbados Today to reach American Airlines officials were unsuccessful. International Business Minister Ronald Toppin says Barbados will address its blacklisting by the Council of the European Union yesterday. The island was among 10 countries added to the list of non-cooperative jurisdictions, which was first published in December 2017. The Council claimed that the jurisdictions failed to implement commitments made by the EU by the agreed deadline. In a brief statement, Minister Toppin pointed out that Barbados recently converged its domestic and corporate tax rates to between 5.5% to 1%, and the country should expect Prime Minister and Finance Minister Mia Mottley to speak to the matter during next week's budget debate. He added that Barbados's actions remain transparent and it has already been deemed compliant by the OECD, the globally recognized body for setting and monitoring of international tax standards. To news from the Senate now. Opposition Senator Caswell Franklyn today called on the government to pull back the proceeds and instrumentalities of Crime Bill 2019, while declaring his support for the measure, which seeks to give the Crown the power to confiscate the proceeds of crimes, which range from offences dating back as far as 20 years. Franklyn questioned the powers being given to the Attorney General to institute the proceedings.
The Bar Commissioner and the DPP already have these powers. Do not take them away from the people who and put them in the hands of a political person. That can be dangerous. I don't like it.
Franklyn also urged government against rushing the legislation, saying that Barbadians needed more time to study the bill.
This is not the way we should be doing business in Barbados. This bill should be circulated and give people the opportunity to check and see what is happening. I suggest that we suspend further consideration of this bill and that the bill be circulated throughout the country, because what is happening, sir, this bill will pass today, and sometime next week or week after, it will come up in the official gazette as government intended to pass this legislation. You will be intended to pass legislation that you already passed. It is happening too often, and it is making a mockery of this parliament and making governance. Look, you see here those 20 bills that we passed the last time, that we rushed and passed to accommodate the OECD. If we had taken time out, we would have put in a couple of clauses to accommodate the EU, and we would not be blacklisted today. We are rushing and we are doing things badly.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is set to present a paper on its Food Enfranchisement and Empowerment Drive program to Cabinet tomorrow. Minister Indawe made the announcement today following a tour of the hydroponics farm at Halton Plantation in St. Philip. The feed program is to be managed by the Barbados Agricultural and Development Marketing Corporation, and according to Minister Ware, not only is it expected to heighten agricultural production in Barbados, but also provide increased market access for local farmers.
But not just have people involved in farming because you say you can do so, but at the same time looking at the markets for the produce. We have entered into discussions with the BADMC to manage the entire program so that when the farmers produce, they then have a ready market to offload, and then the BADMC will be responsible for working with School Meals Department Ministry of Health, the hoteliers, taking full advantage of government's procurement and being able to move the produce.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To the region now, with over 8,000 HIV cases recorded in Guyana in 2018, the Ministry of Public Health is stepping up its action plan to not only tackle HIV, but all sexually transmitted diseases. Melanie Morris of HGPTV has the details.
The Ministry of Public Health has plans of intensifying its fight against sexually transmitted diseases with a view to decreasing its prevalence. The ministry had established a National Health Strategic Plan under its Health Vision 2020 initiative. With 1 year left until the expiration of this plan, the ministry is looking to formulate a new health plan titled Green Health Plan, which will run until the year 2040. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdio Passat said the Green Health Initiative will aggressively target sexually transmitted infections such as HIV/AIDS, syphilis, and gonorrhea.
We are also developing our Green Health Plan that will take us from 2020 on to 2040 to coincide with government's overarching green development strategy. That plan includes as a priority continuing to look at HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. So we are focusing heavily on not only HIV, but all of the sexually transmitted diseases, including, as you might have heard, HPV, which, even though it's a cancer related to cancer formation, particularly cervical cancer in women, is a sexually transmitted infection that we are providing a vaccine against.
And finally, on the international front, the United States today joined Europe, China, and other countries in grounding Boeing's 737 MAX jets because of safety concerns. This follows Sunday's crash of the Ethiopian Airlines flight that killed 157 people, the second disaster involving the 737 in less than 5 months. More in this report from Reuters Television.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9.
President Trump announced Wednesday the United States is finally joining the rest of the world in banning the use of the Boeing plane involved in 2 crashes in 5 months. Trump made the right call, says John Samuelson, president of the union representing flight attendants and mechanics.
He bucked the FAA. He bucked the airline industry. I know that the CEO of Boeing personally reached out to President Trump, and he did the right thing, grounding this fleet, both for air travelers and for aviation workers.
The latest, a Sunday flight of Ethiopian Airlines, which killed all 157 people on board. For days, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration seemed reluctant to order the ban, standing by major U.S. manufacturer Boeing, while every major global regulator stopped the planes from flying.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals as well as screenplay at gas stations and supermarkets near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.